What a way to wake up. It is quite stormy today.
Oh, hello. All right, so I'll see you in about 9 miles.
Okay. This morning is a big day. We hope that our sales will be coming in.
It's all going to go great. It's going to be fine.
I feel good.
I feel
great.
I feel wonderful.
Hey there.
I'm Kelsey, that's Tim, and this is the story of our adventure. Life is fleeting, and we want to squeeze every bit out of it. We are wandering the world, so home is a bit of a moving target for us. We love finding the random, the remote, and sharing it all with you. So subscribe to get lost with us and hopefully find some inspiration to go after your own dreams.
Happy New Year!
In the last episode, we left you in Stuart, Florida, where we were prepping Goose to leave the USA.
Yes, crossing our fingers and obsessively hitting refresh on the tracking for our sails, hoping they would arrive soon. While we're waiting, we had quite a bit of weather.
Yep, which was kind of cozy, but it made doing any outside projects quite hard. What a way to wake up. It is quite stormy today. Very windy. So far, anchor's holding well though.
Yeah, so despite the bad weather, we were doing absolutely everything we could to prep this boat. Massive lists of things to get it ready to leave the country.
And a friend let us use his address while he was out of town for our mail, which made things a lot easier.
Yes, thank you, Mike.
Today's mission, get mail.
Get mail and drop trash. Yeah, it's a classic smooth day, so this is nice. Hey, Goose. We have a friend who lives in Stuart, so we've been scootering down there to get mail. And, you know, it's still this huge process to get mail, but this is easy compared to, you know, most of the time when you just have no alternatives and no chance.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. What are you doing here? Just gonna go do some scooting.
Scooting.
Living that scoot life.
I'll be here.
All right, sounds good. Scooter on. All right, so I'll see you in about 9 miles.
Okay.
Okay.
So while Tim goes and scoots, I stay here with the dinghy, or he stays here with the dinghy, depending on which errand we're running, because this one is not a great one to leave the dinghy at. It is actually a boat launch, so we don't want to leave the dinghy in the way of somebody. And right now, especially, the tide is really low, and so the dock is filled with barnacles. So I'm just keeping a good old Mick safe from all the sharp barnacles right now. And usually it doesn't take us too long to go do whatever we're going to do. There's a grocery store real close, so I've walked and done that. And then getting mail. And that's what this dock is good for. But, yeah, the public docks are rare in Florida, and they're usually a little bit sketchy, so you don't always want to leave your dinghy just hanging out. So this one's not too bad, but not really easy to leave the dinghy for very long. So at least it's a nice day.
We've put a couple 100 miles on these scooters now. We really just use them to run errands, to go get things, that sort of a task. Right now I'm going to get mail for like the 4th time because our mail is about 5 miles from where we land the boat, and it's just so perfect. 10 miles round trip, maybe a little more, and you can leave the battery on sport mode and go as fast as the scooter will go, 19 miles an hour, both directions, rip it, done. Or if you think you're going to want to do some other errands, I put it in D mode, drive or whatever it is, and it uses not half the power, but I mean it's a full third less power it uses in D. So we sort of figured out if on any of these scooters, goes with electric cars, I'm sure e-foils, anything electric powered, If you're going wide open throttle all the time, you're going to shorten the distance and the time you get to use it. But these, like right now, I'm going in D mode because I just want to see if I do this trip at D, how much less power it'll use versus going full speed the whole time. Okay, so now that you can hear me, thoughts on the scooters. Am I upset that we didn't get the air-filled tire ones? No. If I were living in a house with supplies, oh cool, and you know, could easily have a pump, my bike pump, tube of slime, all those sort of accessories, for sure I would have gone air-filled tires. For us, I just love not having to worry about these. I ran over glass today just on the way here in the bike lane, and you just don't worry about it. And the more remote places in the world we're going to be, I know the tires are not going to be an issue. So it's a little rougher, but I would not change it. In terms of range, I think, again, if I were a commuter living in a house, I for sure would have gone with more range, because why not? No negative. There's even one with air-filled tires, double the range, and front and rear suspension. This has rear suspension only. Would I have done that? And a more powerful motor, so you go faster. Yeah, of course, but it weighs double what this does. And every time we're lifting this out of the dinghy, I'm very thankful that it doesn't weigh even 10 pounds more, because it's not so much that it's heavy right here, it's when you extend your arm out, and I hand it to Kelsey and I can kind of see her struggle with it, and I'm even thinking about how heavy it is as I'm handing it to her. I'm really glad we got these. So to us, we really did end up with the perfect ones, so I wouldn't change the ones we bought for anything. So yeah, what don't I like about it? I mean, I just wish it had more range, of course, but we haven't had a situation where it wasn't enough. I just realized it's not an amount of range where you just don't worry about it, where you just have so much, who cares, full throttle everywhere. We've always had enough, but I find myself, because I weigh so much more than Kelsey, I use up a lot more battery than she does. I also use up a lot more once I have mail in my backpack and I'm loaded down. So it's plenty and it's been good enough, but you need to ride sort of conservatively to get the full range out of it. Where did I put my knife? Ah, our basil plant will now be happy. I guess that's it for today. Oh, one more. So yeah, I think we got the perfect scooters. Genuinely, we're not sponsored. That other video where we scooted around, we were just having fun. Some people thought it was a sponsored video. It's not. They did send them to us to try out, so of course that gives you a little bit of a bias because you didn't pay full price for them. But I have no intrinsic incentive to tell them it's great. I think for the price, it's fantastic. And these are going to live a much harsher life than ones in a house. The amount of salt water. I mean, every time we go back to the boat, some salt spray gets on it. I wipe it off and I go, oh man, that can't be good for all the metal parts, the motor, all that sort of stuff. But we're only, 4 months in at this point. But in a year or in 2 years, if these are still working, that is more than worth the amount of money we paid. And I'd hate to get a really nice, high-end, expensive scooter that I feel like I'm truly invested in and then have it die some remote island somewhere and I dump it in a dumpster or whatever, or give it to someone to try and fix. I'd much rather know that I've got just a few $100s into it, use the hell out of it like we're doing, enables us to go and do just this. I mean, getting mail here, it'd be an Uber every time we went. So this pile would get massive. You worry about it getting stolen, you worry about inconveniencing your friend whose house you're sending it to, or maybe the UPS store you're sending it to, and you spend a ton of money in tiny little Uber jumps back and forth, because 10 miles is just enough that it's gonna eat up your whole day if you're walking. So, yeah. I'm going to pack this in the backpack and get out of here.
Guy with a fishing pole.
At this point, it was seeming almost impossible that everything would come together and that we'd be able to meet up with our friends who are flying in over in the Bahamas.
Yes, but before we knew it, it was the moment of truth. Christmas Eve. Good morning. This morning is a big day. We hope that our sales will be coming in. So it's been kind of a crunch They got stuck in Australia for a while. They've been all over the place. And we have literally today for them to be delivered. Otherwise, the very nice place that has allowed us to send the sails there, Max Sails, will be closed for the holidays. So if they don't get there today, we might be out of luck until later next year. So yeah, I think it's gonna work out. It says it's due to be delivered before noon today. So we have a rental car ready. We have to go pick that up, get the sails, hopefully, and then do the rest of any errands we need to do, because then we are officially, hopefully, as long as everything goes well, ready to leave. So it's a big day today, and it also happens to be, what is it, 2 days before Christmas? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 days before Christmas, so everything will be chaotic. We need to go to Costco, we need to go to grocery stores, so it's going to be interesting. So that's what we're doing today. Exciting, overwhelming. Hopefully everything goes well. We'll see. So I have as many bags packed in bags as I can so that we can carry everything in the dinghy. Our friend, his boat is just over there. He's also on a Seawind, and he has a hard-sided dinghy, so he's going to come pick us up. And he's able to leave his dinghy at the dock, which we're not so comfortable leaving Mick, the inflatable dinghy. And then we will all go and run errands together. So
yep. So that's a big day. Yeah. I mean, like Kelsey said, the sails is obviously absolute #1 priority. If we don't get them today, not only are they the most expensive thing I've ever bought that doesn't have an engine, but, you know, like Kelsey said, if we don't get them today, we're stuck here for a while. Now, this isn't, our friends are very understanding and they would just enjoy Florida with us if they have to, but we have friends flying in this Saturday to the Bahamas. They're able to change their flight from Nassau, where we thought we'd be in the Bahamas for weeks now, to Freeport, which is West End, the closest bit of the Bahamas to us currently. Only 75, 80 miles or something from right here. So if we can get the sails done, we can get over there with a weather window sometime this week. That would be awesome. So it's tough because there's all the normal pressures, and then of course we're putting this on ourselves because I know they wouldn't mind hanging out here, but I'd like to get over there for our sake, but also for their sake. So we've got that. We've got a foil board that's arriving today.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So from France, a foil board and wing to start wing foiling is arriving. An packed vest / life jacket for that showing up. A helmet for that is showing up. We need to return stuff to West Marine. We need to, I think that's about it.
Just a few things.
Yeah, it's just a few things. And it's all just got to go perfectly. And then Costco, as Kelsey mentioned, is busy, but it's also, what do you think, about an hour to get there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the closest Costco is not that close.
It's the same one we were going to when we were in West Palm Beach. And right now we're in Stewart or Port St. Lucie right now. And the closest Costco is the same one that we've been using when we first bought the boat. So we have a bit of a drive. And it's all going to go great. It's going to be fine.
I feel good.
I feel great. I feel wonderful.
wonderful.
Baby steps to the rental car.
Yeah.
Baby steps to the first errand.
Alright, so we just got word that the thing is delivered. So we got a rental car, and now we're at Max Sails, where hopefully our sails are, and hopefully they fit in the truck that we got. Thank you. Is that done?
Ah, thank you so much.
Woo!
Cool, sail bag.
We could not have planned that day any better. We got our rental car, and not 10 minutes later did it show that the sail was delivered.
Yeah, we did a quick U-turn and headed back to Max Sails. And I have to say a huge thank you to Max Sails.
Yes.
They had nothing to do with the transaction, but they allowed us to send our sails to them from Australia. And believe me, we had emailed and called a lot of places. And they were so kind about it as well. So thank you to Max Sails.
Yes.
So after we got everything loaded in the back of the Tacoma, we put the pallet on top just to hold everything down with some ratchet straps on top. And then we headed to Costco. It was just as miserable as you would expect on a holiday. And we loaded up the bed of it with even more stuff. And now with all of Pigeon, our boat neighbor's supplies, and ours, and the sails, the Tacoma was just about on the bump stops.
Yes. All right.
So crazy.
I am sitting sitting on the sails. I don't know if I can get a good video of this.
I'll get a shot of you.
There's the sails, all the stuff underneath, and me.
Sails, food for the rest of the year, sail bag, jib and main.
Very heavy dinghy.
Very heavy dinghy.
But we did it in one load.
We did do it in one load.
But we did get lucky. We got everything back onto the boat just as the sun was setting and just as it was starting to sprinkle. So with that, we had everything on board, but we couldn't really do anything with the sails yet. So
Nope.
had to wait till Christmas Eve.
And us being us, we had to take full advantage of our 24 hours with the rental car. So that morning, we got up and ran 4 or 5 more little errands.
Yes, which was crazy on Christmas Eve. But when we did get back to the boat, we were a little anxious to start putting up the sails, even though it was really windy and it wasn't quite advisable.
Probably not the best
Still
time.
had to try.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, things got a little hectic with the wind, so we were filming and then we stopped filming because my phone almost blew off the boat, and we got it up though. How cool does it look?
We got it up. And so you can see all that's all UV protected. And then right here, this is the only part that is the Dacron showing, right? And so if we fully furl it, even that'll be covered. So we'll just have to know to go pretty darn tight with the furl, you know,
Yeah.
to protect this. Cool.
So now the jib was on, but that's the easy part.
Yeah, but we were so excited that we decided to, you know, go for the mainsail, even though the weather was still not quite ideal.
Yes, but we had lots of weights to weigh it down.
Me. Alright, so I think that we got all the battens out.
Got battens out. We got the lazy jacks put away and off the old sail bag. Taking off all the hardware for the reefs at the moment.
It's pretty windy today for trying to do this, but see what we can do.
Frankly, but I think we got all the battens out. So this big old sucker, we need to still undo the cars to the mast, and then we can take the bag off. And doing this in the next 3 days, it's basically this wind consistently, 13 to 18. Not a big deal, but man, when you have a mainsail to fold,
So it's a little challenging.
yeah. But so far everything's coming off good. And yeah, we just got to take this off. Just got the little.
Yeah, I think it just slides forward probably once this.
Yep.
Alright, we did it. The sail is off. It is so much heavier than the new sail and so much bulkier. So I'm so excited to see the new one. It should be much cleaner and slimmer and all that kind of stuff. So that's exciting. And yeah, now we have everything off. So it is not folded nicely. The wind is not allowing that right now. But it's exciting to have it off. And I can't wait to see the new sail bag because the sail bag was just ripped and terrible. So exciting stuff. Alright, phase 2, mainsail. We dragged it up there, and I forgot to put play on the go. Okay, this is going to be very interesting doing this. Trying to do it without lifting the sail because it's just too windy. But we got one batten, sort of in. We gotta cut them slightly to length from the last sail. And the wind. We're getting better at this. Is this 3 or 4?
I don't know.
It's getting easier, at least
Machine,
on my part. Not fighting so much to.
Well, it also feels less insane because some of the sails have secure.
Yeah, as we said. Second to last.
progress.
I'm exhausted, but we have sails. We did it. I ended up being a human weight for most of it while Tim cut the battens and attached each car. So yeah, it was a bit of an interesting process.
It was ominous. With how much those new sails cost, I wasn't sure that we hadn't done something incredibly stupid until the last car was locked into place with its batten and we were done. Now, when it came to the sails, we went with Barracuda sails in Australia, and the reason, for a lot of reasons, was an immense amount of good recommendations.
Yes.
And they've been building sails for specifically Seawinds for a couple of decades. So there's no measurements to take, nothing. They know exactly how to cut the sails for this boat.
Yep.
And sail material-wise, we chose Dimension Polyant Pro Radial Onyx, which is just fancy terminology for what is arguably the best Dacron out there. They're black, and so a lot of people think they're carbon and a little more sensitive, but they're not. They're still a long-lasting Dacron, but wow, do they weigh a whole lot less than the old sails.
Yeah, they look so good, and I still can't believe all of this came together like it did. It's amazing. We have new sails!
We have new sails, and I love, personally, that Kelsey's art that she made many years ago to put on the side of Goose while we were traveling the world in him are now right above us every time we raise the sails.
It's pretty special.
Yeah.
Good morning, patrons, and Merry Christmas. If you're celebrating Christmas, we have a messy, messy boat. But
Merry Christmas, happy holidays,
Woo!
happy Festivus for the rest of us. This is the best present
this
ever.
is all we wanted for Christmas.
Yeah.
Take a look at that. New
And Kelsey's art
sails.
right there.
Pretty awesome.
The shape is just amazing. Super square top, unlike the last one. And then the jib looks really good too. But
Yeah.
I'm so stoked. It's amazing.
So I'll show you our old sail. Been working on folding it up. It was so wrecked, but I have saved some of it and I'll make something out of it. But yeah, pretty excited about that. And then the jib obviously is not out, but there it is. Looks beautiful. So we were stoked. It had been a long couple of weeks and very long 2 days getting the sails, but it all worked out. Now all we needed was a weather window in the next couple of days to cross to the Bahamas.
Yeah, so despite everything coming together so far, getting a weather window in the next 2 to 3 days before our friends flew in seemed very unlikely.
Yeah.
But we had made it this far, so we weren't going to stop pushing, even though we were feeling very old and very sore and very tired.
Yep. So we decided on Christmas Day to make a little jump to West Palm Beach.
Yes, and the reason we were taking Goose back home to where we purchased him is because West Palm Beach is a little further south, and with the jet stream shooting north, you really need to make some southing before you cross, because it's going to kick you pretty far north. So it's a much better jumping off point. But the problem was people wait weeks for a good weather window to get over to the Bahamas. So we had a couple of days.
We crossed our fingers again.
Yeah, just scooping up everything in the water. So cool.
I don't wanna be lonely when winter is freezing and trees start to bolt. And I don't wanna be sitting alone in a room that's just filled with my soul. And so I came to this place, I'm looking for a familiar face, and that's when I saw you.
So with that, we were staring at the weather exhaustedly. The very next day, or a week from the next day, was looking pretty good, so we had to decide what to do.
Yes, so we will leave you with that cliffhanger. Will they find a weather window? Will they make it across to the Bahamas? Dun dun dun!
So with that, join us next week when we finally get to start exploring the good stuff, the stuff that you dream about, the reason you buy a boat.
Yep, so
See you next week.
What she can show.